Hello, everyone. My name is Julia Rogers, and I'm a professional gap year counselor with En route Consulting and the board chair of the Gap Year Association. Welcome to the VSAC College and Career Pathways presentation of Taking the Leap, an introduction to the gap year option. I'm excited to walk you through this growing educational pathway and tell you a little bit about what a gap year is, why you might take one, and what you'll get out of it if you do. So, I want to talk a little bit about the definition of a gap year. A gap year is defined as a structured period of personal growth aided by activities of enrichment. You may wonder, what does that even mean? That's a little bit vague. And that's the idea of a gap year. It's supposed to be this open-ended period of time that's also deliberate and productive. So you don't just kind of wander aimlessly on a gap year. A gap year is really a time for you to say, what is it that I want at this crucial juncture of moving from living with my parents, going to high school to your entry into adulthood. And it's really can be considered a rite of passage. In a lot of other countries, it is a rite of passage to kind of go off and see the world a little bit, see outside of your community, and then, return to college or start your career or start another, step in your adult life with this knowledge that you've gained through this period of time that you've taken. So the activities, the length of time, and all these other things are really subject to your personal situation, your motivations, your budget, your personality, all those things. So today I'm going to give you a lot of more specific examples of what people do with their gap time, but it's important to know that it's supposed to be challenging, productive, deliberate, but within that construct, it's really supposed to be a period of time of your own making, which is really empowering. So just a couple things, again, clarifying the definition. What a gap year isn't. A gap year isn't just not going to the next thing after high school. If you don't end up applying to college or you don't know what's next for you, that period of time, if you don't have a plan, is not a gap year. That's something else. It's also just not going off to travel to get drunk on a beach somewhere or use your time with no purpose. And it's also, it's not working a non-career related job to save money for college. And a lot of people do spend some of their gap year working, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But if you're taking time off specifically to save money for college, that's not really what we're talking about today, because a gap year really entails more personal growth opportunities that are separate from purely saving and making money. So why are we seeing this growth in the gap year option? I'm sure that over the past few years, whether you're a parent or a student, you've heard this term more and more. And one of the things that we are seeing is that that students today are really unsure of what the next step should be for them personally. And this is because college is very expensive. Students have fewer opportunities to explore their interests in an open-ended setting in high school. And there's just a lot of questions that students have when they're graduating high school about what's next for them. Gap years can help answer those questions. And what we're seeing in this data that I have on the screen is that 88% of students say their gap year increased their employability, and 84% of gap year students say that their gap year helped them develop skills that needed to be successful in life and career. That can be as simple as waking up when your alarm sounds so that you actually get to your job on time, or it can be things like confidence and communication skills, things like that are you can't necessarily put them into words on a resume, but they are going to make you more employable and have that skill set that allows you to thrive in college and career. And then this other statistic is really powerful. 60% of students say that their gap time helped lead them or confirm their path of their college major choice or their career path. So for example, if you think that you want to be a marine biologist, but you're here in Vermont where we don't really have access to oceans, and you just have kind of seen that through the National Geographic Channel and stuff, you don't have any firsthand experience with it. A gap year can really allow you to experience field work and data collection and what is life like as a scientist, so that when you start college, you understand that that is a path that you want to pursue. And conversely, a lot of students discover by doing things experientially on their gap year that career path might not be the right choice for them, and they're able to pivot without having the financial and emotional repercussions of having discovered that while they're in the college or higher education scene already. So another thing that we're seeing is that while gap years do not have to take place outside of this country, Many times people do want to travel internationally, but everybody should be getting out of their community that they've grown up in. A gap year is about expanding yourself outside of your bubble. And that has these really fascinating increases in cultural competency, global citizenship, and international awareness. So many students say that their gap time has allowed them to feel like they're a citizen of the world and allow them to understand how to interact with cultures that are different than their own. And in the global economy, this is a really important skill. And as far as just developing empathy, it's a really important skill. And it really necessitates getting out into the world and experiencing different types of people in different places and different cultures.